Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel here today. Today we're going to be reacting to episodes 19 and 20 of Revolutionary Girl Utena. Apparently some kind of interconnected thing. Apparently these two episodes are like a one and two-parter, so looking forward to that. It's probably about Wakaba, let's face it. And I love me some Wakaba, so it's only a good thing. I bet I'm getting ahead of myself. There were comments from last week that I'll get up here in a very similar format to the way I did them last week. They were long. It's probably easy to talk about all the points in total here. Again, thank you for comments. Again, they majorly inform what I write down here. So, thank you. So yeah, last week was kind of 2 episodes in one video by kind of convenience because I wanted to do these 2 this week together. So these 2 episodes aren't really linked in the same way that I would describe, 15 and 16 to be kind of linked, at least a little bit. I don't know if they were linked actually. No, they weren't at all. Either way, these 2 definitely weren't linked. Like, these 2 episodes at all. 15 and... Yeah, 16 was I'm talking shit. 16 was the stupid frickin' cowbell episode. I'm going insane. Anyway, 17 and 18, right? This first point actually applies to 18, but it actually applies to all of them, kind of. It applies to all the episodes I've seen so far. It was actually Suwabuki, or a representation of Suwabuki in the morgue. Put that image up on screen right now. And there are other examples. Put those images up on screen sequentially right now as well. I think one of them showed there's 2 kind of Mickey-looking guys kind of holding hands, and there's also the one with, I think it's Shiori, and she has the bird on her chest. Whatever the bird meant, that was her whole metaphor. So weird. What does this mean? Is it a fun little Easter egg? Is it just a little eye-catch thing that's there for the people that really notice? Or is it something deeper? Is there actually a version of these characters, metaphorically or not, that is being burnt in hell as a result of what they're doing here? Is that irreversible? What am I meant to make of it? I don't know. But it's in the mind, like a lot of things here. And how much did I actually write here? A fair bit. Yeah, a fair bit. So let's tuck in. That's probably the best way to do this, right? So first comment, or one of the first points here, is like, is Shiori also gay? Because Shiori's gay, that's pretty central to her character, right? But I would imagine this never gets any canon, like, this is happening or this isn't happening. Maybe it does, I don't know. There's probably going to be more content from these characters. But she does spend a lot of time thinking about Yuri. Like, a lot. One of the commenters said, like, you're essentially only dating a guy for the purpose of getting a reaction out of another girl. Does that read as something that's especially heterosexual? Surely you'd be thinking more about the guy. Oh, that's what I would have did, I think. So yeah, food for thought. It would also explain a few things about Shiori and her personal response to stuff in the elevator and how flip-floppy that is, and how society may be impacting that. I don't know. As I said, food for thought. This came up in a separate comment as well. Juri is also to blame for some aspects of this relationship not working. She is not openly communicating with Shiori very much. She's kind of, just kind of closing herself off, right? Use the rose metaphor. She's not letting anybody in to see deep into the flower. She's only shown the prickly thorns on the outside, right? But I think that interpretation lacks important context around what it is she's actually not communicating about. So Juri needs to live up to some kind of standard that society/her peers hold. Fair or not, right? Making it very hard for her to communicate. And again, I don't write it down here, but communicate her sexuality. That's what we're talking about. I think this is very interesting, right? This is her own perception from the outside as this kind of stoic, badass, super genius, top of the school superstar, right? Being impenetrable, being like above it all, being manifested through herself. What people see you as is what you eventually turn into, and doesn't let anybody in. Again, Utena kind of mirrors the same kind of naivete, in my opinion, with the whole Shadow Girls thing, right? Just take it off. Just take off those woolen underwear. Just communicate. Just communicate. Why didn't she communicate better? Why didn't she tell Shiori how she actually felt? What if communicating threatens my status, position, relationships, and potentially life, as it does in some areas of the world when it comes to this subject? It becomes very, very hard to just take it off. you know? I really like this Juri as a rose metaphor overall. The series has brought it up in this episode, and I think it applies retroactively to the rest of her content. Oftentimes a prickly person in public, right? Very prickly, like a rose. That's what I'm getting at. Again, living up to this wider perception of her own self from the wider community. She's living up to this, this look into her, which isn't entirely accurate. Us being, the audience and not just individuals in the world, get to see her vulnerable scenes when she's all alone, the thorns coming down. I'm thinking of a couple of scenes. The most obvious ones are the ones in the shower. She's literally taken off the clothes, like taken off the outside layer. I'm in the shower. There's even that shot showing the clothes on the floor as we lead into the shower. This is when I'm at my most vulnerable, right? This is even when I've taken off the locket, which is another thing that's kind of keeping me bound. A lot of it is tied to clothes as well, when Juri actually takes off the uniform and is wearing that dress when she's sitting out by the park. Isn't that another vulnerable moment, only to be overtaken by the thorns when Utena pushes too hard? I think that's an interesting interpretation as well. Very, very interesting character, as I'm sure you all know by now. Juri overall is a character without hope. And we learnt this in episode 17, right? There's no such thing as miracles. That comes from way back. That's reinforcing that same thing. No hope. No such thing as miracles, because that would give me hope. I think the clearest and most obvious example of this is the tragic picture that she has of Shiori. It's not a picture of Shiori looking directly at her, right? It's not a better picture, something which Shiori taunts her about later. It's a picture of her looking towards the guy. It's a constant reminder that she will never look directly at you, which is insane. That is a very, very evocative piece of imagery from the show. And building into this hope thing, it's interesting that the rose itself is plucked, right? The one deep down underground, directly after Juri gets a little bit of hope, lets herself hope a little bit, right? By giving the tiniest piece of information to Shiori. This is the scene where they're up on kind of that balcony, right? And she's kind of like not looking her directly in the eye. She's looking down after the birds hit the glass, right? And it's like, it wasn't about the guy. Just know it wasn't about the guy. That's the only thing she gives her, but it's something, right? It's a little bit of hope that maybe I can tell you how I feel. And again, at that moment, Rose is plucked. At that moment, the seed is kind of planted that will pay off in the rest of the content of the episode around Shiori. Apparently, this is never directly confirmed, but I choose to believe it as well because it makes a lot of sense. So Anshi is the one that kind of gets the locket into Shiori's hands, right? So it gets tossed away. I don't need this anymore. Kind of boomerangs back to her by the end of the episode. I would say in kind of like a genius type way it comes back to her. I really like that as a metaphor for her own sexuality, trying to repress it, but you can't repress such a thing. I think that's cool. But yeah, so there's two things. One, it already kind of lives up to our Anchi motivation that we've kind of seen, where one of her motivations, maybe not her true motivation, but one of them is to perpetuate this dueling game, right? She wants to do things that will make people want to fight more. And we've discussed this earlier, right? Like, she's going to do things to Mickey that push is him in a certain direction to want to fight Utena for her, right? She's going to give this cat to Torga in a way that kind of spurs on those same feelings and leads to more fights, right? She's good at this, even on a subconscious level, maybe. And two, it has to do with animals, much like the cat as well. So, like, this is a pretty obvious trope that I probably should have talked about already. The princess that talks to animals and is in touch with nature type trope, classic fairy tale type beat, which is definitely something in Archie's character that I have neglected to mention up till now. It's very obviously taking that into account. But yeah, she'd probably use the birds to get the locket and then drop the locket off for Shiori, right? And motivate her to do that, and then blah, 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 blah. I don't know if she's cognizant of the elevator and the seminar and all that kind of stuff, but I would believe it. I think that she's responsible there. It's the only other explanation rather than random chance, which could have happened, I guess. I don't know. Now we're going to continue with a very similar theme from last episode and kind of moving into the kind of Suwabuki stuff as well, right? So this was a major theme with Kozue and Mickey, right? Growing up versus staying the same, childhood versus adolescence, that kind of theme. And again, continues into Suwabuki, which we'll talk about briefly as well. So we have a scene where Shiori and Juri are talking, right? With Shiori pleading that she wants things to go back to the way they were. As she says this, kids run past in the foreground, as I noted last week. It's like Shiori is asking Juri to be a child again, to kind of go back to the exact same way they were during that kind of childhood friend type relationship that they had, i.e. no romantic feelings getting in the way one way or the other, without the boy or with the boy. Nothing mattered. We were just kids, right? As we should all know, being adults, hopefully, probably, things can't go back to the way they were. That's not how this works. They need to grow up. They need to grow into the people they're going to be and reconcile this relationship. That's how that's supposed to work. At the end of the day, I'm fundamentally different than I was when I was 11 or 12, and I'm guessing you are too. And we got to reconcile these things. Sometimes that breaks relationships. Sometimes you two grow together and it grows into something else, be it romantic or not. It's just how it works. That's life. And again, they're all kids, and I think I don't mention this enough in the show. Everybody in the show is a kid. Everybody, bar a few. They're learning things, right? I actually think I talk about this here. So we'll move on to this, and then I'll revisit. Some of the comments were kind of dragging Shiori, and I'm with you. She does some bad shit. Let's face it, she learns about somebody's homosexuality and then uses that as a pressure point to get what she wants. That's pretty bad. The whole time being smug about it as well, acting like she has one up on somebody else because of this, kinda sucks. That's a sucky thing to do. I personally believe that there was everyone conflict within herself in the elevator, taking into account the episode's themes about kind of the bipolar nature of the two sides of everybody, right? Like, hey, I'm thinking this one way. No, that isn't right. I'm thinking this. I'm going back and forth, back and forth. I think that's enough personal conflict to say, hey, she landed on the wrong side of it, but at least she was conflicted. She wasn't outwardly malicious the entire time. And again, the whole elevator thing, everybody goes bad in the elevator. It brings out their worst impulses. It's kind of the point of the Black Roses in a way. But again, as I keep reiterating throughout every episode in this arc, that's also part of yourself, and you need to reconcile that. That's how that works. And here's what I was talking about before. Let's face it. Everyone in the show, outside of a few, I'm looking at you, Akio, you piece of shit. We hate that guy. Most of them are still kids. And kids is, going through a tumultuous time in their lives, right? Into adolescence. It sucks. It really does, for a few reasons. It's good and it sucks. It's overwhelming, let's say. So Shiori discovering feelings, and I've talked about what those feelings may be up here as well, so, she's discovering her own feelings and going about it this way in particular. That sucks, right? It could be even seen as some form of self-hatred as well, right? Like this weird mix of emotions of feeling superiority over somebody, feeling disappointment in them, but also being relieved, but also being potentially interested in them as well, and that spiraling into self-hatred, and then which way should I turn? It's complicated. I think there's a lot of nuance there. Hopefully, she has a happy ending where she can reconcile all these feelings and come together to be a better person, and it all manifests, because let's face it, there's probably going to be more content with these two characters. I hope that's the case. I hope. I'm not going to keep my hopes up, though. We'll see. Either way, we're moving into episode 18, which I have written less about, but I still think there's quite a bit here. Suwabuki's the first boy in the elevator, and I guess I clocked this subconsciously, but he also says he wants to wreck the world. And I mean, I am boy. I understand that sentiment, at least a little bit. But also, settle down, champ. Like, just simmer, mate. It's not that serious. I'm not smart enough to infer anything about, like, everybody else saying revolutionize the world and him saying wreck the world. That's probably higher than my pay grade, let's face it, but there's something there, I think, too. Either way, though everybody in the show is young, it's important to note how much younger Suwabuki is. Like, he doesn't even know what innuendo is involved with a banana. Like, he's pretty young. He's not even that level of young, like, where you kind of know what innuendo is, and you just kind of say, like, boobs, penis, and it's funny. Like, he's not even there yet, so he's really young. Like, my question here, does he even find Nanami attractive, or is it still predicated on that earlier experience? Is he horny? Question mark? I don't know. And the episode overall, in all of it, right? The most obvious example being the one shot where he's in the darkness and Nanami's in the light, and there's that very obvious door frame splitting the two. It's the manifestation of the frustration of knowing that there is more to life, but not being mature enough to get there yet. Like, you know there's something, but you can't quite get it. And I think that Turning Red comparison in the comments was apt. If you don't know, Turning Red is a Pixar film about Mei Lin, I believe her name is, going through an experience of growing up, let's say. But still not an experience of growing up. Like, she's still got a whole lot of growing up to do, is my point. Like, it's about going from kid to teen, not even teen to adult. And she thinks that she's, again, so adult for getting her bus pass or whatever the hell she got, right? Again, I'm not going to bore you with the details of what the title Turning Red is potentially even about. I thought this movie was good too. I think it gets shit on a lot online, and I think it's quite nice. I liked that movie. Yeah, the comparison's there for sure. I agree with. So last week I picked up on the theme of the sword talk, adult talk, virginity type theme meshing when kind of the student council were talking about it and everyone's getting kind of embarrassed. Like, this is intentional. Absolutely intentional, right? The whole show is about kids deflowering one another, if you want to be particularly crass about it. It's part of the theming. And again, like, you're not old enough for this. This is a grown-up conversation pushing Suwabuki out of this. This kind of went over my head looking back at it as well, but that scene in kind of the screening room, it seems like Suwabuki stole a kiss from Nanami, and that's kind of the predication for the whole sword-pulling thing starting, right? And even this metaphor, right? This metaphor at the student council, which is synonymous with, again, taking someone's virginity, is being used in a completely different context when it comes to Nanami and Suwabuki, right? Shows his innocence. He wasn't even talking about sex the entire time. He was just talking about a first kiss. You know, he's very young. He's not there yet. There was a comment on the video as well, like, why is Nanami keeping Suwabuki around? Shouldn't she just tell him off? Is it an ego thing? Is it something else? Is she interested in younger boys? I have two major points here. Having a slave's pretty good, I'd have to imagine. Like a manservant, that must rock pretty hard. I don't know. I don't have one, but it sounds pretty good. Two, it's a great narrative foil. So let's take a step out of the actual show for a second and look at it overall. Like, okay, I've got this devoted person that kind of follows me around and stuff, and does my bidding. Isn't that Nanami to Torga as well? And potentially this relationship and seeing that will give her some perspective in the future and what she's like for Torga. It even kind of mirrors each other with this kind of saving each other from animals type beat. And then the cat stuff as well. There's quite a bit there. It's a nice, again, narrative foil for her character. So that's why he's still around, I guess. The last point here is that the little terracotta clay figures holding the chocolate bars that were kind of in the dueling arena in episode 18, they're called haniwa. Usually for funerary... They're at funerals. They're buried with dead, and when paired with the chocolate, which was a symbol for Suwabuki's childhood innocence in the episode, and maybe a closed parentheses there as well, you get the full picture. Like, hey, this is the death, this is the funeral of his true childhood and him kind of growing up a little bit. At least a tinsy little bit, right? At least in his own head. Taking a bite of the chocolate bar and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't know, those were my thoughts, I guess. There was a few extra points that I didn't really have much else to say about. I would recommend, if you guys are super interested, going back and reading the comments yourself, because I think they're quite good. And enhance my knowledge, and should enhance your knowledge if you're interested in Utena as well. I like the comments. Either way, this week, Wakaba episode. I'm excited for Wakaba episode because I am a Wakaba enjoyer. So at the very least, I get to see Wakaba on screen. And again, I'm imagining this is some kind of two-parter. That sounds pretty good. Here's my general thoughts. Wakaba has kind of been ignored by Utena, and I wonder if that angst is going to be materialized in some way. If we're talking about angst being materialized, then Mikage's seminar probably comes up, Black Rose Society. Are we putting her in the elevator? Is Utena going to have to fight Wakaba? That's going to be fucking tragic. That's going to suck. So not looking forward to that if that's the way we go. Seems like there's a boy as well, Onion Boy. So we're going to see if Onion Boy and Onion Girl can get together and what the potential barriers are for that happening. I don't know. Wakaba deserves some love. I like Wakaba. Yeah, so we're going to do that now. Shill stuff, I guess. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and you want to see more, consider subscribing. Very, very, very close to 1,000 subscribers now. If you want to help me over that barrier, that would be great. Comment, and you can get your comments kind of summarized and stuff. I read all the comments. I really enjoy them. So, you know, comment if you feel so inclined. Twitter, follow me on Twitter, and I'll follow you back. And the Discord. Join Discord. Love Discord. Discord. And yeah, jumping into episode episode 19 of Revolutionary Girl Utena right now. Rightio, I have episode 19 up there ready to go. 23 minutes and 28, can I read? Seconds on the video. That's the time code. Oh my god, I'm losing it. The thing I wanted to say was we're kind of nearing episode 24, which is where my current file set cuts off. So if we could start to get some kind of links to alternatives there, that would be great. I'm imagining there's just some kind of thing that mirrors the Blu-ray pretty well. That would be great. If somebody could link me that kind of thing on Discord, would be appreciated. Either way, there'll be a picture-in-picture version in the description below using the Some Stuffs subset, but that may change at some point in the future. So yeah, just going to give it a 3, 2, 1 and jump right in. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. And we're back. I love watching Utena. Oh, that's the other thing I meant to mention as well. Konosuba's finishing up this weekend as well, so there will be a poll on the channel. There'll probably be a video announcing it as well, so if Utena fans want to make their voices heard, I do my polls through Discord. You'll get the gist of it once I post it come this weekend, but yeah, should be an interesting one. If you want to get some recommendations for shows to watch on the channel as well, the Discord has a requests for the channel type channel where you can type what you want. I don't know. There's lots of stuff in there, so I'm just going to like pick what I want. That's basically the vibe. Maybe leaning a little less intense than Utena as well, we'll see. The weekends do generally get a little bit more busy than my Mondays, which is when I record this. Well, there's also been a number of people going back through the early ones. Like, one of the videos must have been picked up by the algorithm somewhere, and they're like, oh shit, this is good. So thanks for watching, I guess. But, yeah, going through from the start, I was clueless back then. I'd like to think I know a little bit more now. Okay, tell me something. Castle? Fairy tale? It's like a brown rose. Indeed. Okay. Wakaba's getting a cuddle. That's good. Seems to be pretty happy about it. But who is Wakaba's prince? Yeah. I love this shot already. Okay. Was it lunch? Is that the good thing that happened? Okay. No eyes. Huh? Okay. Odd thing to say. Here comes boy. Okay. Kazami Tatsuya. Huh. Do you know the name? Onion Boy. Okay, bit of a childhood friend type character. Wakaba. Ten is kind of stuck in the middle. Okay. The roses there were interesting too. Song of the Fallen Kingdom. Okay. Like the kingdom in her own little fairy tale? His head looks like an onion, I think. Why not? Okay, alright, that's a good reason. Yeah. He didn't seem very particularly smooth. Really? Him? Not anybody else? He's heartless. You seem to think a lot about him. Give Wakaba a hug. Okay, well that's very direct. He didn't really commit to it. Oh yeah, one more time, why not? Oh, hey, another. Why not? One more for the road? No way. Yeah, like your little story. Like it was being framed the same way. You know? The use of the silhouetting as well. Oh, boy is here. You know I'm calling him Onion Boy this entire time. There's no way I'm learning his name. I would agree. I think she's just not into you. No. Yeah, you forgot. Mm-hmm. No, no Tonikaku. No. Get your head out of your ass. You're whack as. Okay. This seems like it isn't fraught with danger. What's the student council doing? We having another party? Okay. All we do is parties. Which one? Don't embarrass me. Yeah, just move on. Get shit on. Hell yeah. That's a great picture too. Deranged. Seek help. You too, maybe. Interesting. Obviously, yeah. This is all about Wakaba as well, obviously. It'd be very easy if she could just turn off her feelings, but that's not how people work. We hate Onion Boy. She's right there. She's perfect. Alright, let's talk with Mr. Troublesome. Hmm. Huh. He's just gathering data, as you do. Okay. Yeah, like I'm my sister's prince. Stop. Stop with the young people envy. You guys are whack as. Alright, cool. Why? Oh, you're just gonna come sit at the table. It's my wife. I wonder how Archie's gonna behave here. Him and Mia. Yes, indeed. Choo Choo's just into the cake. What? Why? What an odd scene. I wonder what Wakaba thinks about this. Not your cup of tea, huh? Her, yeah, her. But you're already a prince. Yeah. What do you mean? What are you talking about? You kind of put her on the spot. The colors, huh? I love it. I need that as a GIF. It's hard, especially considering the circumstances and what Onion Boy thinks. It's a very soft episode. I really like the instrumentation here as well. It's you, dummy. Does she act tough? Sometimes. Hmm. Yeah, go on. Okay, what do you mean by that? Oh, interesting. Well, you should skip the middleman. You're kind of shy too. That's a term of endearment. It's like a pet name, you know? Sure. I fully agree. I do. Shadow Girls? Onion Boy and Onion Girl. Utena, you're a meanie. What'd you do? How did that happen? What? You buy tires there? Yeah. What gun? Makes perfect sense. Wow. Wait, no, you don't eat them. No. What does any of this mean? Can you eat those? No. They're bad for you. You shouldn't eat like rubber. Heads up. Okay, this is all very romantic. As always, the silhouetting's fantastic. Okay. Shit got me giggling and kicking my feet. Yeah. Okay. Oh. There's gonna be a kicker here, right? Who may that prince be? Maybe. Damn. Maybe he is kind of smooth. Yeah. No, see, no, that wasn't the next line. Get punked. The use of pronouns there is interesting too, because I'm imagining she's talking about Utena, which is how we link this into everything else. Oh, what are you doing, Buster? I didn't expect you to go there. I thought the opposite. I thought we would be sending Wakaba. It's not really enough time. Yeah, send him to the pit. Fill out the form. Love this door handle too. Look at that shit. Indeed. I love the tonal shift between the last scene into this one. Yeah, therapy. The normal way. Another man, you reckon? Hmm. What? Okay, he's in his own head. Calm bro down. Tarnished? Hey, yo. Bro's got that rage. Yep. Interesting. Huh. You truly are a good person. What does that imply about everybody else? Wait, what? What the fuck? Bro? Bro is here? It wasn't Utena? Wait, that means he's right. That guy sucks. He was right the whole time. That guy sucks. He's right. No! Wakaba, no! Alright, is Wakaba stupid? What is that ending? Huh? Alright, because the whole time I'm like, okay, this is manifesting into like a Utena doesn't respect Wakaba enough type story. Clearly we're not going there. I thought it was a new character when I saw the silhouette. I'm like, what? And I saw the broccoli hair. Not broccoli boy, we want onion boy. This is no way to live. Okay, that threw me for a loop. I thought the episode was pretty clearly going one way, but went the other. Yeah, obviously the most interesting part is the elevator rejecting, what's his face? Onion boy. Yeah, which we'll talk about. Little preview, maybe? Or maybe no little preview. Oh, Wakaba based. Yeah, no preview. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about this episode for a little bit, and then we'll watch another one. Sounds good. Well, I mean, that threw me for a loop. That was kind of crazy. Yeah, I really like the episode though. Overall, I agree with one of my sentiments I said in the middle of the episode. It was a very soft episode, which I really enjoyed. Kind of contrasted from, I guess, the last couple that have been pretty structured, pretty, let's motor along, let's do this thing, isn't the only way this episode breaks structure as well, which I thought was interesting. Just, yeah, it felt different, felt good. It's nice when being able to change the tone of an episode of a show from episode to episode means you understand how you're creating the tone in the first place, which shows that you know what you're talking about, which is fantastic, right? Like, hey, we know what we're doing when we're making the show kind of scary and tough and hard to get through and all these kind of things, right? And we know what we're doing when we want to make it like kind of light and breezy and fun. It's definitely people involved in the show that know what they're doing. As I've said a number of times. A number of interesting details that I'll go into. An episode kind of centered around Wakaba, what Wakaba wants, what she feels, her past, and I thought was definitely going towards her feelings about Utena, but doesn't seem to be going that direction at all, being kind of over to Saionji. If we remember from the very first episode of the show, she kind of gave her love letter to Saionji, which he posted on the board, and that was kind of the first kind of, I guess, spark that sent Utena into the dueling system in the first place, unknowingly using the rose seal and doing all those kind of things, right? It's the thing that set the whole story in motion in a way. Her kind of respect for Wakaba and Saionji being kind of a bad guy. Clearly Wakaba hadn't let go of those feelings. This is somebody that she still admires, even though Saionji has been exiled. We also have this color for the roses, which I'm sure is a color that is synonymous with Wakaba. Kind of her hair color in a way, but let's call it a brown rose. Again, Mr. Colorblind here isn't going to give you the biggest and best color analysis on it. Let's go back through this thing. There was a couple of scenes I wanted to give another mention, so we'll do that. So let's go from the very beginning. We have this color roses spinning, right? Which contrasts with Utena's pink roses, which spin in the normal kind of fairy tale-esque opening of the show, in which we subvert the fairy tale and Utena wants to be a prince and blah, 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 blah. We've seen it a million times. This is Wakaba's version. Same kind of curtain being pulled up, same type of fantasy setting and that kind of thing. If you want to be super smart, you could say something contrast between sun and moon, because Utena's is during the day mostly, where this one takes place at night in the moonlight of the castle and blah, 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 blah. I think this is a particularly evocative image. I actually really like it. And yeah, we go down from the castle, camera pans down, and we see Wakaba with her prince. I've waited so long to meet you. My whole life has led up to this encounter with you. Don't you think, my prince? Again, it's very obvious that we don't get to see who this prince is, so the end of the episode is a surprise, which it most certainly is, but I guess it shows that Wakaba has this idea in her head of a fairy tale-esque romance that she wants to happen to her. She deserves her own little happily ever after, which I'm fully on board with, just not with Mr. Broccoli. This is obviously building up contrast as well. The first time we see Wakaba and Utena this episode is this kind of silhouette by the tree. Another portion later when we see that is here somewhere. All this kind of stuff, especially when they're first meeting. Yeah, here. Like a very obvious contrast that I really enjoy. It's a gorgeous shot, may even be the thumbnail. We have a little intro dialogue about Utena and Wakaba and her making a good wife and making a good lunch and bento boxes and stuff before Mr. Onion Boy comes wandering over. So he wanders over and goes to give Utena a little love letter, right? Please read this. This love letter is instantly snatched by not Utena, but instead Wakaba. Wakaba snatches it after hearing the name. She's curious. She wants to know how she remembers it. And Utena already kind of starts to reject him. You're not really my type, blah, 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 blah. For multiple reasons. One, you're not a girl. But the other one is, you're not the prince. You're not the prince. You're not my prince. So buzz off, basically. However, Wakaba's still reading this letter intently. We get introduced to his name in this particular little arc here. You are the Onion Prince, paired with a white rose, which I think is quite apt. Of course, that's the color of the prince from Utena's little debacle. Onion Prince. I think it's a really evocative name. Obviously, Wakaba is Onion Girl. If I'm going to make up this fairy tale that I'm putting myself in, especially from a young age, he's my onion boy prince. He's kind of got onion-esque hair in the way that it kind of curls like the layers of an onion, where, again, Wakaba's is pretty obvious as well. I like it. It's cool. So is he acting right now when he goes, Wakaba, and then, like, acts like he doesn't recognize her? Because, again, the whole premise of him coming up here in the first place is that he wants to date Utena in an effort of being close to Wakaba without admitting his full feelings. Because, I don't know, weird motivation aside, I think he's putting on airs right now. And again, everyone's blushing, Utena's looking back and forth. You know, we can kind of see what's going on here already. The episode title is Song of the Fallen Kingdom. Don't really understand the song element, really. Song of the Fallen Kingdom. Well, there's that Minecraft song, Fallen Kingdom. Are they talking about that? I don't think so. I think they're talking about something else. The kingdom is obviously their whole... if you're the Onion Prince, I'm the Onion Princess, this is our kingdom, the whole fairy tale motif going into it. And that kingdom has fallen because of choices made in the end of the episode, potentially. That's what I'm getting, I guess. We pick back up with Utena and Wakaba walking back home from school. Wakaba's still got the letter. Utena's, I guess, bemoaning that she missed the chance to give back the letter immediately. Now it's dragging on. You know, she just wants to tell this guy no, but Wakaba's still got it in her hand. But Wakaba puts her foot down, she wants to give it back in person, because it'll give her another chance to talk to the Onion Boy, right? You can almost read into Utena wanting to return it immediately as kind of a princely act as well, something, you know, fitting proper etiquette and that kind of thing, where Wakaba's just, you know, doing her own thing instead. You shouldn't pay attention to that guy, Onion Boy, clearly trying to, like, push her away from him, I think. I don't think Utena is potentially very interested in Onion Boy's smooth talk. I don't think you have anything to worry about with regards to that. He's the same as all men, giving men a bad name, chasing tail, smooth talking innocent women like Utena. Not the vibe that I get off Onion Boy at all. Potentially the vibe I get off Sayonji. I even mentioned it in the reaction. There are about 5 or 6 other characters in the show that I'd put in the problematic pile instead of Onion Boy. We even say it at the very end. You're not problematic enough to get in the elevator, buddy. You know, yeah. I'm guessing because you couldn't harness power from that, is my general thoughts. Either way, Wakaba breaks down a little bit, says he's heartless, and we get a little piece of backstory. He kind of left school, he skipped town, went somewhere else, without really telling her why. And obviously Wakaba feels very strongly about this, felt a connection with him, even from a very young age. Very important dialogue here as well. That guy used to be my prince, so later on, that shouldn't be as much of a surprise that she goes to her actual prince. Again, I thought it was Utena. She's moved on. We depict this a number of times. I actually really like the repetition, but the story goes, kids are picking on Wakaba because of her hair, calling her an onion girl. Well, okay, if I'm onion girl, then I have Onion Boy here with me. Hello, Onion Boy. And just randomly grabs his hand and he's been pulled into this whole thing. However, this is a formative experience. You're being picked on. You have somebody there to stand with you. It felt nice to have this person with me. This is growing into feelings later on, potentially. We'll say. I guess the repetition and the fading away shows how it was important earlier on and has faded with time and grown to a more distant memory. Again, reinforcing the end of the episode. But I also just think the repetition is funny, so it could just be joke. Could just be funny. Utena starts to identify with Wakaba a little bit here. Well, you've got your own prince, I've got mine. We're kind of kindred spirits in that way. And we kind of wake up the next day and Wakaba's in class, kind of gets called out too because this boy is asking after her because he knows that she has the letter or whatever. Wakaba also sees 2 girls talking to him and kind of gets visibly a little bit jealous, I think. Like shuts book and like, yeah, okay. Like a little bit worried in this shot, a little bit more. Yeah. I think. Again, I thought this episode was going one way, but it most definitely went another. Just because you don't think he's your prince anymore doesn't mean you don't hold any kind of feelings for him at all. Doesn't mean you completely dropped him. So she's definitely feeling something here, I think. Either way, they get some time alone here. Onion Boy laments the fact that she was acting weird and gave Utena a bad first impression of him. You brought up this weird Pumpkin Prince thing. Pumpkin Prince is particularly tragic because it means that this meant less to you than it did to her, right? You didn't remember the exact right vegetable when that was a very, very central element to the story and why I even picked you in the first place, right? Why I grabbed your hand. However, he holds affection for Wakaba. The tables turn at some point in the episode for sure. Like, he holds affection for Wakaba. He should remember these kind of things. Again, is he just playing coy? The only reason he wants to get to Utena is to get to Wakaba. Do we take that as a legitimate motivation? Weird one. Again, the dynamic switch somewhere here along the line. Wakaba, like you like Wakaba, and we think that Wakaba likes you, but that all changes by the end. Well, we didn't think you liked Wakaba, but then it turns out you liked Wakaba, and we thought that you liked Boy, but it turns out you didn't even like Boy. Well, no, you like Boy, but he's not your prince. Weird. Again, I guess I did have an element of meta-knowledge as well, that this was a 2-parter, that I knew that the conflict wouldn't be resolved by the end of this episode, right? So I started a theory craft. Again, I went straight for Utena. I thought it was going to involve Utena. doesn't seem to be the case. Wakaba puts her heart on the line here a little bit, says it was a very important memory for her, to the point where he just says, anyway, and then moves straight back onto Utena anyway. I guess he's embarrassed. I think that's the motive there. Either way, Onion Boy pleads to be reintroduced to Utena again. Wakaba turns around, doesn't face him, and says, if you really want to, if you really want it, I'll introduce you. Not seeing the eyes here, obviously would tell the true emotion of these words, mirroring the start of the episode where we didn't see the eyes as well. Two characters not telling their true emotions, baby. Absolutely hilarious scene here with the student council. It seems like we're increasingly neglecting to do the intro, the full-on student council intro, and we just kind of pan up to see who it is, right? Again, Elevator going up to the student council showed them as, again, the major conflict makers, the major villains of that first arc. We don't get that anymore. They're way more just kind of like side characters, pseudo-protagonists now. This also kind of looks like a bum, so I don't know if I need to get my mind out of the gutter or not. Either way, it seems that there's going to be a party again. Mickey's going to play piano. He thinks of his special person when playing the piano, of course, to which Nanami has something to say here. Nanami says that you need to move on. Mickey claps back by saying you can have all your desires satisfied by an elementary schooler, which is just great. I love how, like, fucking mad she is. It's great. Nanami says true love is only something you experience once, which piques Juri's attention, which I really liked as well. Right here. Like, oh, you said one of my, like, phrases. True love. I also love this picture of Nanami and Toga grabbing the arm. Clearly one party here is way more interested. And yeah, the kind of puppy dog eyes here as well. Yeah, very, very funny. Again, this whole conversation in all is informing Wakaba, right? True love is only something you experience once. When did you experience it? Are you going to pursue that? What does any of this mean? But it's also very relevant to Juri. She's experienced love once and is very, very much holding on to it. May have something to do with the locket around your chest. Again, also applies to these two characters. It's a pretty broad theme in the show. True love, what does it mean? Should we pursue it? What does it mean when it's denied? So then we have another scene here with Utena and Akio, but Anshi's here as well, which is kind of weird, makes it a little bit more awkward. We're telling the story of Wakaba. She thinks she's found her prince, or whatever that means, or is he really the prince? And these kind of questions are being asked of him. Utena's bemoaning the fact that the characters aren't talking it out more and finding out if it's actually a prince or not her prince or whatever. Pot, kettle black a little bit, just a little bit for sure. You could talk it out with a ton of different characters and actually find out what's really going on, but we don't. Again, we need a show. Again, Akio keeps saying some whack shit, just gives a little bit of advice here. The inside of a person's heart is akin to something veiled in silk. You may feel like you can peer through it, but in reality you cannot. As it turns out, he's completely correct because Wakaba's heart was actually with somebody else, which we'll talk about. But it's also weird for you saying that kind of shit about hearts while you're in the room. I mean, do you think you know her heart? I don't think you do. It's weird. It's all weird. I don't like you. I don't like this guy. The princes people hold in their hearts should be unknown to other people. They're a mystery to the outside. Mystery to even the audience, potentially. And then he says some whack shit. I envy young people's hearts. I hope you too find your own prince soon, Anshi. Weird. Looking her directly in the eye. Weird. Either way, now we have a scene with Anshi, Utena, Wakaba, and Onion Boy comes to the table. She's sipping on some tea. There's a whole metaphor in the scene about not my cup of tea. He's not my cup of tea. Continue to sip tea. And it just kind of turns into like a Utena watching the conversation play out and thinking certain things. I really like the repetition of this shot. I think it's very funny. Utena agrees to put up with him, but she says it's not for her own sake. It's for somebody else's sake, but doesn't say who. It's for your sake. She's trying to set you two up. Here comes Onion Boy. I figured out who he reminds me of. Let me get him up. Hang on. Yeah, here he is. You guys seen Psyche K? He reminds me of the super ultimate normal guy from Psyche K. One of the funniest characters. I love how much Psyche K wants wants this guy's life. And I guess it's a bit of a diss to this guy because he's just completely normal. He's very white bread. Sure, he's unproblematic like everybody else, but I wouldn't say he's exactly a catch either. Just maybe the green uniform as well. There's something in that. I don't know, there's nothing wrong with being the ultimate normal guy, but I just think it's funny. There's a small interaction here between Onion Boy and Anshi, right? Hello, I'm Himemiya, which is distant. That's a last name, not a first name, so like, you know. She's just being polite right now. Then we introduce him to Choo Choo. He introduces himself to Choo Choo, which is weird. And then they keep looking each other in the eye, and then Choo Choo fucking upskirts him, which is strange. I do not know what to make of this interaction at all, especially building on my current theory that Choo Choo demonstrates what Anchi actually thinks in certain scenes. Maybe it's best just to ignore this one. I don't know. It's fucking weird. Either way, Wakaba gets jealous of Choo Choo, which is insane, and says that side of him hasn't changed. He's always buttering up girls. But here's where Onion Boy's attention pretty much becomes devoted on Wakaba. Why are you accusing me of this? What's your problem? Well, she believes that she's been buttered up, right? She believes that she's been, promised the world and then tossed aside, when in reality, the only reason he's back here is because he can't express his feelings true enough and he actually likes her. But again, she doesn't want to admit any of this. It's all very high school. And again, Utena just watching this sipping her tea. Very, very funny. She knows exactly what's going on between these two. Or at least thinks she does. The conversation turns back towards Utena. Utena, are you seeing anybody at the moment? No, not currently, really, even though my bride's over there. Ignore her. I still have my prince. I think about him all the time, so you don't really have a chance. Sorry. Onion Boy says the idea of a prince sounds nice and dreamy. Speaking of, looks like the princess next to you has a prince she can't keep her mind off either. Where Utena fucking sets up serves the ball and she's just gonna have to slam it, spike it, and she doesn't really do so. Oh, and now this scene, very, very interesting, right? Because she gets up, you've got it all wrong. Because the Onion Prince isn't my prince, or whatever she kind of implies, right? Isn't your prince the Onion Prince? Let me get the dialogue here. The Onion Prince is nice and dreamy, right? Like, again, just trying to set him up. And then you've got it wrong. My prince is kind of looks at him. He's all blushy and stuff. She doesn't really understand her feelings. Had the white roses there, into the brown roses there. And again, you think, you're the audience. You think that you know what's going on too. But in reality, Wakaba's feelings are completely different here. She's conflicted because she still kind of likes Onion Boy, but she has her own other prince now. Why not be more honest with yourself, Wakaba? I said you've got it all wrong. Utena, you're picking on me, and then runs away. Again, we think we know what's going on. We don't. That's actually kind of fantastic. Very subversive. Utena has a little giggle, sips her tea, and then, we feed Onion Boy what we think is the truth, right? That, hey, Wakaba cares about you deeply, you're essentially her prince, what do you think about that? And we get Onion Boy to open up a little bit. To tell the truth, when I transferred to this academy, I knew that Wakaba was already there. She hasn't changed even a little bit from those old days. Whenever she looked happy, you were there next to her Tenjo. If I could be with you, then you could be with Wakaba as well. You two were always in tandem, so, I didn't think I had a chance with Wakaba, so I went for you, and I thought I'd use this as a bit of an in. She isn't very honest with her feelings, should just call me Onion Prince and send me on my way. But I was wrong, wasn't I? She actually likes me? Well, I don't know anything beyond that. The princes people hold within their hearts are surely beyond others' understanding. Oh my god, you're so right. But yeah, Utena says she thinks it's worth it to confess, and off he goes, right? Another really great scene with the silhouetting. Really fun. Now, okay, let's rewatch the Shadow Girls sequence and see what's going on. I think that'd be great. Because I think somebody buying something that somebody else isn't selling, that isn't very tasty, there's something in that with how Wakaba and her actual feelings are, I think. Aren't she almost in a kind of ominous way says, with romance, whatever happens, happens. True, but then she swings open her locker, and we get a little, illustration there from Wakaba. Utena, you're a meaty. This is great because it mirrors a lot of the structure of the other episodes, where here would be a dual declaration and then we would move into Shadow Girl sequence followed by Absolute Destiny Apocalypse. We're kind of subverting that here by having things kind of swapped around. We have our weird elevator sequence here and there's the Shadow Girl sequence here, and there's no Absolute Destiny Apocalypse, and I think that's really fun. again, this mirroring the dual invitation. Extra, 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 come one, come all, fresh tires for sale. So here we have a person selling something, selling an idea of something, but the person buying it, potentially buying it, not understanding the true purpose of it. Does this not mirror Wakaba and Onion Boy a little bit, right? Like, hey, I'm selling tires. Well, that's great. I think I'm going to eat said tires. No, that's bad. You shouldn't eat tires. In the same way that that person is misinformed, Onion Boy is also misinformed. And Utena by proxy. I do love how direct and stupid this sequence is, though. Like, why don't you know tires aren't for eating? Who told you that? I don't know, I guess it goes to show the assumptions people make in these kind of things and how we can apply that to the rest of the narrative. Yeah, I'll take a helping of those tires. It's hard to know which ones are good without tasting them. And then again, Utena interacting with the Shadow Girls. Can you actually eat those? I don't know, not really. Now, we have this. Now, this is very fun. This is, to my knowledge, shoujo subvertive stuff. Subversive would be the word, actually. Jesus. Hey, we've got this beautiful confession. We feel like right now in this scene, we know what both characters want, right? Where they want to be together. This is a beautiful sunset afternoon confession type scene. Classic, shonen shoujo romance type beat. Like classic by the tree on the hill. I felt like I knew what was going to happen, right? Well, also, okay, I got a sense that it was subversive, right? Because again, I had the meta knowledge that this was going to be a 2-episode arc, right? I felt like there was something else to this. And I felt, hey, we never really got over the whole Wakaba-Utena type relationship. So I thought that's what was going to come through. She was going to drop the other side of this, which was going to be, hey, I still harbor a lot of feelings for Utena, right? As my prince, as she has said throughout the series. But no, the narrative also thought that you would think that and does something fucking insane by the end. I think that's very funny. Either way, let's kind of speed through this sequence, even though it's particularly well done, had me giggling and kicking my feet like a schoolgirl. It was crazy. Yeah, really well constructed, really well shot, really well lit, all the fantastic stuff about Utena coming through here. And of course, the kicker here being when he said that, you should be honest and pursue your prince. That's not who that's not who he thinks you're talking about, right? Childhood friends are just that good. So is she interpreting Onion Boy as giving her advice as the childhood friend in this particular sentence, or is there something previously before with Seonji? Interesting. I'm unsure there. Wakaba finally realizes it. She really does love that prince, the prince that we conveniently don't get to see the head of. And maybe if God is on my side, that prince will turn around and look at me. Maybe I can become happy too, live my own little fairy tale. You can become happy, looking in her eyes. The red flags start to appear. Do you promise to make this a secret? This can be our secret. I still can't believe it. I finally found happiness, haven't I? I hope you hurry and find happiness with somebody too. Kind of the saxophone, this lovely song that's playing kind of grinds to a halt a little bit here. Let's go with a hand. And Onion Boy's left to pick up the pieces. Yeah, really, really, blindsided here by this. As she goes off and she's going to go tell the prince how she feels, leaving him in the lurch here. His shadow here kind of reminded me of the start of the episode too. He's got that gamer neck going on, which is never a good look. So then, okay, we learn that information. We get a picture of Nomuro Memorial Hall here, if I can speak. And he's going to go in the elevator, Mr. Onion Boy. He feels compelled to go here without an appointment, which is interesting. This wasn't set up. We didn't see any Black Rose shenanigans at all. He just kind of goes in, right? Where everybody else, it seems like they were somewhat expected. They filled out the form. The rose was built up in the episode somewhere as well. That didn't happen for Onion Boy here. So anyway, he thinks this is somewhere where people just get advice, but that's not really the vibe as we figured out. He gets in the elevator, it starts to play out very similarly. He's seeking consultation about this girl that he's thought about for a very long time. She was my princess and mine alone, but she left me to see another man? Oh no. So I was like, oh, pronouns are interesting here because he thinks it's a man, but it's Utena. No, it's just Sayonji. I'm sure she's being tricked. She's such an innocent girl, and I'm sure he'll do all sorts of horrible things to her. Like, or even, oh no. And again, I'm thinking, you're a fucking loser. Utena would never do stuff like that. As it turns out, he's completely right. Sayonji sucks. No, don't do this. See, remember the last time Sayonji had like a fucking girlfriend? He beat the fucking shit out of her all the time? That guy sucks. But it doesn't matter. No matter how much she's tarnished, she'll come back to me. Now, this is fucking toxic as fuck. But anyway, putting that aside, I guess it's delusion. Because I love her so much, she'll come back to me, even if she's, again, tarnished, whatever that means. Because love always wins in the end. I would make you happy. I would sacrifice anything for your sake. And we're descending, right? But one thing I've noticed, this butterflies staying a butterfly. It's not changing at all. There's no metamorphosis here. We're not increasing the shake or anything as we descend either. But yeah, he's got that rage. Why can't it be me? I just want to love her. I want the best for her. Blah, 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 blah. Mikage walks in. This is different. Well, it's not different, but what he says next is different. You really are a good person, aren't you? Therefore, there is no path for you to take here. Again, using the opposite, it implies that everybody that goes in that elevator who has the appointments, who actually has black roses prepared for them, are somewhat bad people. Which is great. I think that's really... Because the black rose growing is this kind of metaphor for the dark feelings growing within them, right? And that being plucked and then shoved in and then everything changed. That's all great. You didn't have a black rose forming because there was no real angst here for you. There was no terrible feeling underneath it all. It could also imply that the people that have gone, like Kanai, who wanted her fucking sister-in-law dead, Kozue, who people have discussed how she used to be controversial, Shiori, who we have discussed in this video how she is kind of terrible, and Suwabuki. At least some element of him is kind of terrible. Interesting. Something to keep in mind for sure. I really love this formula break. I think it's really, really indicative of what has happened before. So then, yeah, we have the sobbing onion boy. We tell him to go home. Look, he's just a sweetie. Oh, that sucks. But yeah, this is no place for good people. We have these shots here, which is kind of almost like her little radiant thing. Kind of on the edges here. She's rushing over to see him. Now, I don't know where this is. Remember, Sayonji is exiled. He's not at school right now. So I don't know where the fuck... I can't, like, read, so I don't know where this is. Maybe if I put on full subs and signs. Hang on. Wait, no, that's not subs and signs. It's only honorifics and stuff. Never mind. Because all the other subs and signs have been translated pretty well. Anyway, you would have to imagine this is somewhere off campus. Wakaba rushes in, closes the door there, says, "Tadaima, I'm home." We get to see over here on the window, he's looking out, and then there he is, the boy, Broccoli Man himself. Gives her the okairi, and then, yeah, to be continued. We're kind of left in the lurch there. Yeah, he didn't get let down here because he's completely right. He's like, this guy sucks, I'm better for her. I wish she would realize that. She's too innocent, she's being duped. All these things are correct. You're on the right side morally here. I think that's the takeaway we could take. Yeah, that's a curveball. And I think it's a really, really good understanding of what the audience would expect at this point and subverting it in a very cool way. And there are hints all throughout the episode, up to and including the Shadow Girls, as we've realized, of this being the case. So now we get to see why. Now we get to see the why of the situation, which is, why the fuck is you here? What happened? Why do you still believe Sayonji is your prince? Why do you still like him like that? Why is he seemingly cool? Why is he like, telling her that you're home and that kind of thing? Does she have some kind of secret where she's just been kind of hanging with Sayonji on the side as well? All will be revealed in the next episode, you have to think. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to do that now. I'm going to bring up the next one. But yeah, this was a curveball for sure. So hope the reaction was fun. I felt like it was fun. Yeah, so see you in a second for episode 20. Okay, to preface this section of the video, this is after I have seen episode 20 and analyzed episode 20. So I have a very, very much stronger understanding of what Wakaba was talking about and all the secrets have been revealed. Let's put it that way. So again, I know some people watch along blind with me. I would advise skipping ahead to the next portion and not watching this portion. But I had a ton of thoughts about this episode with the context of episode 20 now. So, like, okay, let's talk about episode 20's major theme, which is Wakaba and being normal versus being special and what makes her special. So we have this little prince motif thing, right? This is her literal attempt at being an important character, of being the protagonist of her own story. Just like Utena, it's mirroring her intro in that way. I love, love, love this. Like, this is such a great element on a rewatch, right? And like all this this kind of moonlit castle, right? If I can grab it at all. Yeah, like there. And the moonlight is so important, right? Because there's a theme in this arc of the story about secrets in the moonlight, secrets in the dark, secrets in the night, right? Think about Anchi and her stuff with Akio, right? That's the same difference. This here is Wakaba's secret of the night, right? That she goes back after school and spends her evenings with Sayonji, who's like in her house. And again, sees herself as the protagonist of her own story, being made special by this interaction. It also very much recontextualizes these shots of the two characters, like with their eyes not on the screen. These two characters, Wakaba and Utena, at this moment do not see eye to eye. They may be acting out a very normal scenario, but there is something hidden, right? True intention, the eyes, the window into the soul, is not being shown here. Again, fantastic. That's so good. So much shit is hidden here that you come back later and are like, oh shit, that's what they were talking about the entire time. Let's talk about Onion Boy, because Onion Boy is going to be a big element of all of this too. That'll do for Onion Boy. Onion Boy's normal. Onion Boy has brown hair. Wakaba has brown hair. Utena, again, when we'll talk about it in another scene, almost in a very condescending way, is matchmakering these two, right? Because they're not special, they're two normies, and they should get together, right? You know? Two normal people with aspirations only to the normal, and no aspirations for the special, should just get together and, you know, have their little happy ending and whatever, and we can just brush them aside. And I love, again, I've talked about this a little bit before, but the element of the episode where we're in Utena's perspective. We don't get any Wakaba perspective to this episode here in particular. So us, as Utena, as the audience, we just assume that Wakaba's being shy. We just assume that she's being a little bit obtuse when it comes to her own feelings. Let's just skip to this scene like here, because this demonstrates it the best, when she's like getting up and wants to go and whatever. Yeah, this kind of stuff here, right? So when it's like, you know, Utena's playing matchmaker with her and Onion Boy, she right now is going to, or has to, confront the things that she confronts in the dueling arena in episode 20, right? Where it's like, you look down on us, we're not special in your eyes, you will never understand. You, Anchi, the student council, none of them will ever understand, right? That's the conflict that's going through her head right now, not anything else, right? I think there's also an element of her still caring about Onion Boy. She wants to let him down easy. Like, because, again, we know now that she's been keeping the secret of Sayonji for a long time. Like, it's very hard to reveal said secret. It's her personal secret. It's a secret into her own heart. It's her ticket to becoming special. She obviously can't blurt it out to everybody right here, right now. There is so much emotion packed into this scene for Wakaba that is just in the, you know, in the background that we don't get to see because we don't have that perspective yet. And there's lots of wink, wink, nudge, nudge stuff all throughout here. Like, if you rewatch this scene with the knowledge we have now in mind, it becomes a lot more clear, as well as the scene with Akio. Like, they have references to this, seeing through the silk veil into somebody's heart and how that is hidden. It also recontextualizes this, the little bit of, so we have Onion Boy here, who is someone infatuated with Choo Choo and Anchi and that whole thing, right? Because she's weird, she's different, she's special. No other character in the show has a little animal sidekick, right? And of course, Mr. Normie's into that. That mirrors how Wakaba was into Saionji before everything happened, right? She was one of the faces in the crowd that were gathering around him. You see Onion Boy after all this special stuff and getting kind of dragged into the weird nature of it and get a little bit jealous. That jealousy grows into a full-on rage later on, but that's, again, neither here nor there, especially directed towards Anshi. I still really agree with the false sense of security that the episode gets you into, right? Where it's got this really classic, like, Utena playing matchmaker, classic confession by the tree type energy. I don't want to sound too artsy-fartsy here, but I think in the same way, again, that Utena is condescending to Wakaba in this episode. She just wants to get that romance over with and move on with everything else. I think the narrative is doing the same, where, hey, like it's lulling you into this false sense of security that this episode is going to end relatively soon with these two in a little bit of a happily ever after. Just this really classic, unproblematic, little story that they have, little special thing. And again, it's what makes The Blind Side here insane, right? And even me with the meta knowledge, I'm like, well, she's going to go after Utena. No, that's not the case. And then the elevator, of course, yeah, you're a good person. We can't do anything with good people, right? Or at least people with no aspirations outside of the ordinary, right? That's why we can do stuff with Wakaba later on, because she's potentially not doing the right thing. She's potentially making some mistakes and is acting in bad faith. And again, someone smarter than me can talk about all these different little formula breaks and that kind of thing as well. Of course, this I'm home, welcome home type beat that these two have is all the more tragic now as well. Yeah, even this walk that is kind of mirrored her walk home that we see a number of times in episode 20 is already present here in this episode. And I better stop, otherwise this video is going to go for a million billion years. But this was insane. This is insanity. This is so good. These two episodes in tandem, and the revelations in episode 20 being retroactively applied here. And again, I'm going to keep banging this drum. How the audience is put in the shoes of Utena, right? How we are firmly in that protagonist's point of view. We don't get a view into anybody else's secrets, right? And then, of course, are blindsided when our little fun, ordinary side character, comic relief, is actually harboring one of the most dangerous people in the show and is madly in love with them and has this big, long secret that they've been keeping for ages. That's so fun. That is so, so fun. So yeah, moving on with the video now. We can go into episode 20 and you can watch my reaction there. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how I'm going to order this, but I'm probably going to put this at the very end. Okay, thank you. Rightio, I have episode 20 up there ready to go. 23 minutes and 27 seconds on this one, so please sync up accordingly. As always, picture in picture. As always, some stuff subset thingo. And yeah, just give this a 3, 2, 1 and jump right in. Rightio, 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, so I wonder if this episode will somehow talk about, again, this brewing kind of angst between Wakaba and Utena. Again, predicated on, what episode was it, 12? Where, there was that whole conflict where it's like, hey, Utena's falling away, she wasn't being a prince, and Wakaba was the one that inspired her. But Wakaba couldn't really get a rise out of her the same way that Anchi could, and is there some growing inadequacy there? I'm wondering if any of that will be addressed or not. This is new. This is great. I thought I knew what I expected from this 2-episode chunk. Turns out that wasn't the case. I'm also going to sit up a bit higher in the chair. Maybe I need a pillow or something for the chair. I do spend a lot of time in it. It's very hard. Somebody somewhere also mentioned that shot as well, and I don't disagree with them, where they said it almost looks like those two characters in conflict for a second. As I've said, there is brewing conflict also between Anshi and Utena. It's not a secret. I'm just wondering how long that lasts and how it manifests. What's the rumor? What's he doing? What's the rumor? Oh, that rumor? Well, yeah, he has been expelled. He was being a psycho. I kind of had a thing for him. I don't know. He's tall, I'll give you that. Huh? You guys are crazy. Okay, yeah, so this is off campus. She's going for a walk outside. Oh, there's a cute cups too. I like the sheep cups. Oh, that's your room. And then, oh, this is back in the day. Now you're just there? What a freeloader. Wakaba can flourish. I don't think this is how. This guy sucks. Now listen, we're going to go in with an open mind. She doesn't care. She just wants to make you coffee. Bravely? Like fucking Joan of Arc? And he's very like my honor. What a softie. Okay. Maybe not so softie. Okay, that's better. I love her kettle as well. That's great. What are we doing here? And I'm recording. That's always good. Mm-hmm. Hide him under the bed. Who is at the door? Oh, random girl. I'm just a little bit flushed because I had a boy holding hands. Oh, that's a great face too. Smooth. I wouldn't be surprised. She's sweating bullets. Oh my god. Nah, you're weird as. Oh, see, the is that his uniform up there? No, why is he likable? No. This is very unbelievable. I can't believe this is the direction we went. And I think I like it because this has been going on for a little bit. There she is in the back. Yeah, but is he also just freeloading? Well, he did that though, so he sucks. But now everything's changed, baby. Wakaba be bowling? No, Utena be bowling. In the preview, we did see Wakaba in whatchamacallit, in PE gear. Oh. I will pass too. Loser boys. Run, Wakaba. The new me is special. Where I wasn't special before? Yeah. Okay. Even a little bit of green up there. Oh, and they have a cute thing where they, welcome each other home. Sure. I'm just wondering if he's just a freeloader. Does he just need shelter? 500 yen lunch money. Oh, look, she's succeeding. What a hero. Oh, she's so cool. Oh, she's the best at everything. She's like a center of the circle. Kind of this I'm special narrative again, right? I wonder how this is going to play out. I've noticed something like that, right? Are you going to follow up about Onion Boy? Oh! No, I'm telling the truth. It's more I see a change, I reckon. What the fuck are you doing? It's just a random shit. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Oh. Huh. I do too. I don't trust this. Unless he's really turned over a new leaf. Now, this is probably just Wakaba's perspective, right? It's very similar to the shot where she was crying, looking at the love letter on the wall in episode 1. Yeah, very, very similar. But that's a nice thing to do. Do you see Wakaba as a means to an end? Are you using her? Or have you turned over a new leaf? Leaf? I don't know. Yeah, no, I don't know where fucking Torga is. Okay, feeding him intel. I'm just wondering about Sanji's Eternal thing. Remember all that? Yeah. 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 Don't pop that, you'll have to buy it. Perfect. Okay. Well, this sets up a pretty definitive arc for Wakaba to do in the rest of this episode. You know where she's going, right? Wait, what the fuck? I teleported? How? Get a room. Yeah, I don't think you're the one that's going, though. What is that? Oh, no! No way! Oh, shit! No, that's murder. She's gonna fucking murder the shit out of her. Yeah, okay. They're fucking so smart. That was very well done. We get to see Wakaba in like dual clothes. That's cool. Yeah. It's very meta. What is it you have to do, Wakaba? Indeed. Poor Wakaba. But I get it. Those are cute cups too. Yeah? Is that what you reckon? Oh yeah, you're Black Rose, of course. Unsatisfactory. Yep. Oh shit! Not the sheep. Not in front of the sheep, guys. Yeah. They played him like a fool. A sun shower? Okay, time for a duel. It be raining. Was this Fox? What? Is this a Japanese joke? What? Okay, that one's straight over my head. Do 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 do. Bu 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 do do do. They've set up this episode very well. Because I understand Wakaba's motivations now, and what she's been kind of hiding this entire time. And the framing of the episode made Sanji look like a really good match, when in reality, I think he's just kind of being a freeloader. It doesn't really think about it that way. Oh, my nose is really blocked. Yeah, interesting one. Apologies. I've had, yeah, something since the weekend. How much of Anchi is cognizant of what everybody else is doing if they gave Mikage the hair clip and then she just put it on? Who gave her the hair clip then? Is she cognizant of the Black Rose Society like that? But they want her dead. Or did they simply say it was just from Saionji, so she wore it because she knows that would motivate Saionji more? The motivations there are very interesting. Yeah, I'm sure this will be a shock to you. Of course, the hair clips. All different colors too, which is something I want to talk about. I'll win this? Oh, because Wakaba can't fight. She's so cool. Oh, evil Wakaba, oh no. Oh shit! What happened there? Okay. Dodge. Exactly. The voice acting's amazing. She's killing it. I remember. Episode 1, baby. This is fucking epic. Yeah. Holy shit. Stop! Yeah. Okay. Sure. Well, they're dancing. Oh, reversal? Yeah, cool. Interesting. She used her sword. Yeah, I mean, sucks to be you. You're still like a normie. Yeah, that's pretty tragic. Called him a clown. And trash in the same sentence. A trash clown. Um, yeah, okay, so he's back. He just walks back in. Oh, because Torg isn't here, so like... Yeah, what a fucking nerd. Does that mean he remembers much of anything? Because he was the one that got the sword pulled. So he remembers, Wakaba doesn't? And then we do the same like shots of her walking back. Yeah. Fuck. That's terrible. Okay, there's going to be more Wakaba too then. Holy shit. What a good 2 episodes. It really threw me for a loop. I really wasn't sure what was going on at any point there. Yeah. So there's a tragedy to Wakaba. For sure, for sure. Her being aware that she's not this important character. Note hair color. It's very, very, very important. Onion Boy has brown hair too. Because they're normal, right? They're not special. They're not part of the narrative like this. And it's almost like a character in a very meta sense breaking out of this kind of role that's been assigned to them. Of, I'm important. I want to be important. I want to be important to these people. How am I going to do that? Sanji was the route in. Sanji was the route to relevance. So again, remember kind of Utena going through all these things, right? And then Anshi being the kind of the point in which she turned, not Wakaba. Wakaba isn't important. And that whole feeling that Wakaba had being internalized through this episode, being externalized almost. Like, hey, none of you take me seriously. And then even then, she's being used as a pawn in more important characters' games. It sucks to be Wakaba, man. All right, where are we going next? Okay. Nanami? Is this going to be a goofy episode? I kind of need a goofy episode. This looks like it's going to be goofy. Wait, is this all the bully girls? What? Pesky insects. Sure. What a weird thing. And yeah, a little bit of analysis on episode, whatever this was. 20. So yeah, I mean, say it with me, chat room. That was potentially the best episode thus far. Definitely the one that got me to feel the most kind of things. The most adventurous, the most formula breaking, the most surprising. The one that got the best reaction out of me. I was edge of my seat. I really wanted to see what happened here. It's really, really, really damn good. A singular whole construction, I think, this episode. Like, exists as a singular piece of art detached from the series. I would say that it's quite special in that way. It's very singular, is my point there. Like, really, really honestly, for this first half, just following Wakaba and the daily journeys of Wakaba and what she thinks and what she feels and how Saionji makes her feel and the perspective we get on Saionji through her is so, so, so interesting. When in reality, I'm like, this is fake. This has to be fake. This whole thing has to be fake. And lo and behold, it was. He was using her. He was biding his time. He was waiting there. Doesn't mean that the moments aren't cute. Doesn't mean that he doesn't do nice things every now and again. But it's a means to an end. She's not special, right, to him. In the same way that she's not special to the rest of the narrative, to the rest of the show. She's not a character which the gods of the series, the writers, have deemed as special. And I wanted to talk about this now. I want to talk about the multicolored nature of all these little hair clips, right? There's a good shot of them. Right here. So all these different hair clips. The hair clip's pretty obvious. It's got a pretty obvious connection to the rest of the episode, right? And her garb as well, brown. So all these colors here represent the special characters, the special ones, the ones with the colored hair, in a very anime meta sense, the characters that matter. There's that classic, put up a couple of examples, like the memes where it's like, I bet you can't guess who the main character is, and they have the most stupidly over-designed, aesthetic compared to regular characters. I talked about it before. Fucking Psyche K plays off this all the time perfectly, right? And it's very apt that I compared Onion Boy, who in essence is very similar to Wakaba, to a normal guy from Psyche K. Like, she's just normal. She's regular. She's brown hair. She isn't one of the special ones. There's also something very much to their title of Onion Prince and Onion Princess, right? Where that is, associated with a lower socioeconomic class, a farming class, a almost feudal class, right? Against royalty, against princesses, princes, everybody else in the show, right? The student council. Those higher up, or the social hierarchy, right? In comparison, these two are working class. The one time she gets the one thing that's adorned in gold, it gets taken from her. That is definitely an element of the show as well. And this episode and this angst is her dealing with this, and how this is manifested through many, many other times in the series, where she's just been brushed away for the important characters to do their thing. And it sucks. It sucks for a character like Wakaba. So again, her desire here is even less around Saionji. Saionji's important, but it's breaking out of all these other barriers. It's breaking through every barrier and every relationship she potentially has in the show to become more than a side character, to become somebody that's worth it. Which it's a really, really interesting and ultimately sad point of view for the character that I really, really like. It's brilliant. It's brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And it's been bubbling under for so long. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. The episode starts with Wakaba kind of walking around and we hear these swirling rumors about Saionji and what happened and that kind of thing, right? I interpret this as her leaving all those rumors behind, not taking any interest in them and knowing the real Saionji, or at least she thinks so, right? Like, hey, I'm going to leave all those rumors at the door. I'm just going to go about and do my thing because Wakaba, know the real guy. I know what he's really like. He's actually a big sweetie. But again, us as the audience, we know what he's really, really like. He sucks. Broccoli hair boy, not good. So again, we've got this conflict in our mind where we want to feel happy for Wakaba, right? We want to feel happy for the kind of things she's going through here. But ultimately, it just, something's off about it the whole time. I love, I know I'm skipping ahead. I love this moment where Mikage comes to the room, right? It's like an even more important character coming to see a kind of important character to piss off a super unimportant character because that he knows that's a direction to get to Archie and Utena. What a conniving little so-and-so. Yeah. This move is amazing, by the way. Yeah. Very smart character. Emotionally, even. The audience even gets a reminder here of what the real Saionji is like, that he's violent, he lashes out, that kind of thing, right? A piece in larger antagonists' plans. He was a piece in Torga's plan. He's now a piece in Mikage's plan. This clown, this trash clown that we're just keeping around. Yeah, he's got a certain tragedy to him too, but at least he has colored hair. I don't know. I think there's something ultimately really sad as well, and I'll probably talk about it later, of Wakaba looking prettier, Wakaba looking happier, Wakaba shining when she's under this, I guess, illusion that she is important. Like, hey, everybody's wondering about Saionji. I know something that they don't. I have one over on them, so now I can act outwardly so confident. There's a tragedy there for sure. For sure. Fuck. I really like these cute cups too. Like, obviously the pink and the green contrasting there. Or the green for Saionji, but the pink. Like, again, you thought you were someone. You thought you were in tandem with him. Where I don't think the relationship's much like this. And again, this here, I'm imagining, is very soon after he's been exiled, right? He just comes to her room, kind of at his lowest moment, kind of sent off to the wolves, right? So this has been going on for at least a month, like pretty long time that he's just been chilling out here. I'm saying that because he's wearing the same jean suit that he was before. Don't you, the Canadian suit or something? I don't know what the correct term is. Yeah, he's got his bag too, his hobo bag. And this is the face that Wakaba sees. Gentle, kind, not the sharp features of the normal Saionji. The episode's title here, Wakaba can flourish. She can. She flourishes under the illusion, under the lie. Oh no, this isn't the kettle. Is this a kettle or a lamp? Or is the lamp in the background? I think it's a lamp. It's cute either way. It's it's like a kappa. Oh, that's funny, because Sarah's Anmai as well. So he must have been an interest of Ikuhara's for a while. I guess they are inherently kind of interesting. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Saionji's being a freeloader, but he's like asking questions about her day and stuff. And again, as I've said a number of times, I think these early scenes are being framed from Wakaba's perspective, where she doesn't see any of the red flags, where she's just like, hey, this seems kind of cool. I don't know. This boy I like is living in my room. And again, the most important part, I have one over on everybody else of you normies by having him in my room, right? Everybody else that's clamoring after him and wants to know what happened. I'm special in that way. Saionji lays on the praise here as well, says that she has bravery like that of Joan of Arc, giving him shelter. However, she just doesn't really care. No, it is a kettle. This thing's cute. You like press the button at the top. I'm enamored with this kettle. I love it. I want one. I think Saionji feels a lot of shame in needing to do something like this, of needing to, freeload and live with somebody and, I only tangentially know you really. This was the only place I had to go left, really. But again, I'm happy that I'm able to do this for you. Don't leave. Don't feel shame about this. Just be here. Let's make the best of it. Blah, 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 blah. We already knew that Sanji was kind of a softie, like with the whole diary situation. But yeah, he's crying here. He's thanking Wakaba, grabs her hand. Wakaba, my valued friend. Jesus. And yeah, obviously feeling all, some type of way about it, right? Coffee's going to get cold. I don't know if we heat it up with our immense romantic tension. Anyway, yeah, she doesn't mind him freeloading, right? She likes him and she likes the attention and all those kind of things, right? Again, in another meta sense, Wakaba hasn't really been in the show as much since Sanji's been exiled, right? We've seen her here and there, and she's been quite funny. But outside of those few scenes with Utena in 13, she hasn't really been much of a presence. Not 13, episode 12, I want to say. Yeah, 12. Wakaba goes to, I guess, pseudo-confess or say if it's okay with you or blah, 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 blah. Wants to, progress the relationship further. Somebody is at the door, though, and Sanji is forced to rush off and hide like the little, trash clown he is. And yeah, this is just some good comedy. We get, Wakaba sweating bullets, hiding this guy. But I heard you talking. I'm actually really religious and spiritual. Yeah, I'm super into the supernatural. Yeah, I'm kind of freaky though. And then yeah, sweating bullets. Very funny. Again, another great moment here is him scurrying out from under the bed. I think that's pretty funny. Oh, he even gives it the shoujo flair. So yeah, then we get a little bit of, Wakaba narration. This is my secret, mine and his. It's our secret, my dear Saionji. I've always admired you. Always admired you. But you're always out of reach for someone like me. This is a pretty apt metaphor. So again, everyone's praising Saionji. They think he's so cool. Remember early in the show where he has these legions of fans following him around and that kind of thing, right? Like, look at this, right? And then where's Wakaba? Wakaba's all the way at the back, if VLC wants to behave. There she is. Just a face in the crowd, not special, right? Now remember this face because it's important, right? This is Wakaba coming face to face with the idea that she isn't someone special. Somebody like her isn't allowed to be a legitimate romantic option for somebody like Saionji. He's out of her league. And it's so ridiculous to the point where I'm going to put up this love letter up for everybody to see, right? This is an example of what will happen if you treat me as such. If you're not special and you treat me like you're my equal, I will embarrass you, right? It's heartbreaking for Wakaba, right? And that single tear rolls down the face. That single tear will be recontextualized later. So that's how it was like before for Wakaba, right? But now she's not even watching Utena play basketball, right? Like she's got her own thing to do. She's off to be the protagonist of her own little story, right? Wakaba doesn't even want to play volleyball, right? No, she's got something else to do. She doesn't want to hang with the fucking losers. You fucking loser dogs. She's gonna go hang with Saionji, someone that matters. Yeah, now she's running home, running past all these normal people, doing her regular day-to-day routine, but it's changed. It's more shining. There's that afternoon sun coming through that invites her into her own place now. She has somebody to come back home to. Again, making the end of the episode all that more tragic. Utena quietly is noticing a change in Wakaba as well. I think the way she says it is very interesting. You look more pretty. You look prettier. Isn't that an interesting thing to say? That's something Wakaba would have went crazy about before the change, before the secret. Wakaba's so cute too, writing this little note, left you some lunch money. Again, he's just kind of freeloading, he's just doing his thing. I left you 500 yen for lunch. And yeah, that's when we get all these shots of Wakaba shining. She's a star. She's winning the race against these normies, right? Leading the class, becoming someone important, even to a musical level, right? You know, Smarts mirrors a number of characters. Mikage, Miki, music, Miki again. Various sports like Utena, Toga, Juri, Saionji. They're all good at sports. She's standing out more and more. This is such a great shot, though. She's so cool. This one's the most obvious one. She's literally sitting in the center of the circle, right? She is the center of attention as the result of this. In the past, even in the previous episode, she was sitting on the edge of the circle, peering on to the interesting things happening, right? Having lunch with Utena, where Utena is the one driving the plot forward. Now it's different. I'm the center. So the point of that musical montage comes to a head here. Utena has noticed the change. How is she going to go about explaining it? Interestingly enough, Wakaba's the one that initiates. Is there something wrong with you, Utena? Right? You seem to be noticing me a lot more. Did something happen recently? No reason, you just seem so full of life lately. Nothing in particular, she says, right? And also you look prettier, and the little side eye and the little tiny blush there as well. Again, as I said before, this is something Wakaba would have gone crazy for previously. But now she just kind of walks off and does her own thing, right? She sees it as somewhat of a lie or a giggle or something, just kind of walks off, does her own thing. Yeah, I'm serious, there's something different about you. And then bye. See ya. Now, I don't understand the context here. I think it's bad touch that you're like sitting on a fucking recliner watching Utena do like gymnastics moves. That's just a little bit suspect. But let's talk about the conversation. Again, getting advice off this, the chairman, the pseudo-chairman of the school. We're saying that Wakaba is totally different now. Like the kind of goddess whose name gets written into the stars, you mean? Oddly specific. Bro is obsessed with stars. He's crazy. And yeah, I think this is actually some pretty good advice, right? Why did she suddenly get prettier? What happened? Blah, 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 blah. Utena, bro, you don't understand. You're following a predestined path right now. You are one of the special ones, right? I know so because I know so much about how much you're being considered by Mikage and friends, by the prince up top, by the student council. I know all of this. Even if you don't realize it all the time, you are the protagonist of this story. There are special people that will always receive notice. You, for example, right? You have been deemed important. And yeah, Utena kind of isn't even aware of it. More and more to her naivete, right? She's not aware of how important she is. She's not aware of her place in the narrative as much as a character like Wakaba. You have a special quality that you're born with, right? But most people are but one among many. Pan immediately back to Wakaba. However, given the smallest chance they can shine with a light they never had before had. This is her chance to shine, or at least that's what Wakaba thinks. And shine is a really, really interesting adjective. We've already noticed how much light is being shined on Wakaba this episode, and as well as the shining of this little, I guess it's like a carving or a jewel or something that she's going to put in her hair that makes her shine, right? It's gold. Gold shines. For the longest time, I've just wanted Wakaba to be happy. I believe this is Utena's legitimate motivation, even if she's sometimes uncaring in this regard, doesn't really consider her fully. But it's interesting that among these things happening, that's when Utena actually really starts to actually notice Wakaba. Again, she didn't notice Wakaba, didn't notice, right? We keep coming back to it, but again, that scene in episode 12 where Anchi is the motivator for her changing as opposed to Wakaba. Wakaba does much of the legwork there, but, she's not special then. It's upon Utena actually noticing her and using her as the subject of a conversation with Akio, right? It's only after this stuff happens. She's proving that own perception is correct. It could even be said, oftentimes, one's moment of being special doesn't last very long. And this shot is very, very important. I believe her face here mirrors the face of her reading the letter from episode 1, right? But the tear here is recontextualized. For one, the object of her love letter is literally got both his hands on her right now. That's a plus. She likes that. Being regarded, being shined, being adorned, all these things. It's not much, but I wanted to say thanks for how much you've done for me, everything you've been. And yeah, that tear starts to form. And this is a tear of happiness. This is a tear of I've made it. And it's perfectly contrasted with the episode 1 tear. I think it's very important that it's such an evocative image overall. This face is very memorable. It helps this moment hit very hard and really reinforces what it needs to. She's made it. This is her I made it moment. Of course, capped off by the little piece of jewelry, which will come back later. But yeah, it really seems like Wakaba is the hero of her own little fairy tale right now. She's finally made it. Like that little scene at the start of episode 19, right? She's finally the princess of her own little story. And it doesn't involve boring Barry or whatever his name was, Onion Boy. She doesn't want for the ordinary. She has the ordinary. She wants to attain what she wants to attain. And it recontextualizes the conversation, right? Remember where she's like in episode 18, which is you wouldn't get it, Utena. Like, Utena thinks, oh, this is just some cute, romantic little nudge, nudge, wink, wink type stuff. No, she's legitimately like, no, Utena, you wouldn't get it. You wouldn't get what my prince actually is, who my prince actually is, and why it's important to me. To the point, again, where she doesn't see these red flags. How well written is that? That is genuinely, like, brilliantly subversive. It really, really is. Because you're put in the shoes of Utena. You think it's going one way, it goes another complete way. That's so, so, so good. That is so good. And then it starts to go downhill. I love this for a setting, right? So she's been doing a lot of the shopping for her and Saionji, so it's only natural that she's here. But what section is she in? She's in the meat section with the beef. Maybe some cows named Nanami here even, right? But animals. We're seeing animal meat. Aren't she? She's associated with animals, right? And again, the frustration of like pressing on the plastic of the meat too. Like, yeah, I love this as an idea, for sure, for sure. So again, as I said, this is where things start to go downhill. Wakaba is kind of giving Saionji a little bit of a catch-up on what's been happening. Toga hasn't been going to school, Nanami's stepped up, the student council is all pretty much the same, but they're helping her out. However, Saionji asks this question, right? Ask me anything, it's fine, blah, 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 blah. How is Anshi doing? Now, this is the real fucking... This is the sticking point for sure. Oh no, this face, holy fuck. Oh no. Again, he's curious about Himamiya. You know all the stories. You know that she's one of the important ones that have been deemed important, special even. This face, this anger, this frustration, pressing down on the plastic there. Love it. And again, this is where she starts admitting it to herself. Sanji probably just wants back into the academy. He's probably just biding his time to wait to do so, right? When he, does, he'll stop living with me. He'll probably forget all about me. I won't shine anymore. I won't be special. And yeah, at that exact moment, that's when that rose is plucked. That is the exact motivation behind this dark feeling coming out, right? And again, much like a few of the characters early, really, really focusing on wanting Anshi dead. That is a huge aspect to her personal motivation, which hasn't really been there for the last couple. So now we have a scene with Saionji just kind of polishing the little hair clip, right? Making it shine for her on his own, doing his own thing. It's all very cute. He set up his own little fucking newspapers to not get the place dirty. Stretches once, looks outside, then hears what an enviable life you lead, Saionji Kyoichi. And then, yeah, Mikage's just in the room. I'm not going to pretend like I understand how he works. He may just be a vampire. But yeah, he's here, and he has a proposition for Saionji, knowing, again, all the secrets that people hold deep in their hearts. Somehow, I don't know how, but he does. Again, very telling line. Privy to all the secrets, no matter how small, no matter how irrelevant the character is, I still know their secret. I also like the implication from this whole thing, that Saionji's been kicked down a peg that he has to hang with the normies for a bit. And he's still trying to climb his way back up to what he deems as special as well. It's kind of very similar to his Eternal type storyline. Again, Mikage really hits the nail on the head here by saying you've been reduced to, freeloading off a female student, and one which I don't even name, right? Not Wakaba, a female student. I can't get over how good her kettle is, though. I love this. I want this. Anyway, now we get to be sad for a little bit. So now we've demeaned Saionji enough, right? How about this? I'm going to offer you just like a slither of power to be able to fight back, to be able to regain what you've lost from what Torga's done to you, right? The future prospects of the academy distress us. Talent like yours is very precious. So yeah, now we're manipulating Bro. Again, he knows who Mikage is. He knows he's seminar. He knows he's powerful. He knows he's smart, right? So okay, what do you want of me? If you actually want to support me, getting me back to where I want to be, again, promising me that I'm special, what do you want me to do in return? There's one object I wish to have from you, and this is perfect. This is cinema. This is, yeah. So again, we just mentioned this one object, blah, 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 and then we see Wakaba still worried, still stressed, walking back, thinking about what Saionji said about Anshi. Cue Anshi walking past, and very, very obviously in her hair, you see this, the gold shining hair clip. And Wakaba clocks it, and look how worried she is. This is the manifestation of everything she didn't want to happen happening. This is, oh, that's my hair clip. That was a special thing for me. Even if he's just made another one, even if it's not the same hair clip, it's not special anymore. It's being given to two different people. I'm not his one. I'm not anyone's one without that hair clip, without that symbolism. And again, the implications of Anchi walking past with that hair clip at this moment are very interesting as well. What did she mean by this? She clearly knows too. She clearly knows. She has to, right? And then what does that mean in contrast with, remember the whole thing in season 1 about like okay, remember when Utena lost, right? And a whole bunch of that motivation, or some of it, right, to get her back was Anchi wants to make friends. Anchi wants to be not restrained by this system, like whatever else. And specifically, Wakaba is mentioned. Like, I think Wakaba's cool. I want to be friends with Wakaba. Then why are you doing this here now? Why? It has to be a lie, right? Or this is some other side of her coming out? What? Yeah, the implications there are crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. This is a fantastic thumbnail too. I should screenshot this. But yeah. Yeah. If you didn't know, now you know. And yeah, then you start to hear the elevators whir, you hear the sounds, you see the sweat recontextualized now too, which I love. And I love her voice acting all through this section, basically to the end of the episode. Wakaba's VA just kills it. Like somebody on her edge, on the end of her tether, right? She's gone crazy. No matter how much I try to be there for him, his heart belonged to her from the start, to Anchi, right? In contrast with Onion Boy in the elevator, we have actual change here happening, actual metamorphosis. Again, as she descends into madness, says that, you know, Anchi's actually special. Her face, everything makes her special. And she will take everything away from me in doing this. I just don't have it in me to turn the other cheek. At the end of the day, I'm just another face in the crowd, while she is special. This is unfair. I have angst about this. These special people that are in a different world from mine, but if he's there with me, I'm gaining legitimacy from him as well. It's not internal, it's external for sure. And with just a little bit more time with him, I would have been reborn. She, that girl, oh no! And then we hit the bottom, and then Mikage does sus Mikage stuff and says that she must revolutionize the world in doing so. How do you revolutionize the world? Let's go fucking kill Anchi. Oh, another fantastic shot too. Evil Wakaba is crazy. So again, I think the implication here is the Mikage's got him unexpelled somehow. We need people like you back in the academy. I need but one thing from you to make this happen. The hair clip, and then we can spin that out into, you know, whatever else happens, right? That's when he starts to put on the uniform that's been hanging there. He's now welcomed back at the school. And then, yeah, Sanji's kind of talking to himself, says he's going to go, you know, take the school by storm again. Going somewhere, says Wakaba. Appears in almost a very horror movie kind way. Like, just kind of glaring. We don't see that left side of her body, of course, because that's where the rose is. Oh, he almost turns and says Mikage as well. He thought it was Mikage again. That's funny. Oh, it's also probably indicative considering the rose seal and stuff. Interesting. Or the black rose seal, I guess I should say. Either way, he's apologizing for being a bother. I'm returning to the world I used to be a part of, which is very, very direct. Where's the hair clip? Oh, something happened. I can't give it to you anymore. But when I get to the school, I'll buy you something nice, that kind of thing. Should I just mail it to this address, or what else is going on? Forget it, I have a better piece of jewelry now. I don't need that hair clip anymore. And then, yeah, this is very, very intense, right? Immediately goes silhouetted with that red background again, like we've seen with a lot of these Black Rose Seal characters. Rushes straight towards him and pulls that sword out by force, right? It's also raining here, which runs into the raining theme that's in the Shadow Girls. Now, I'm going to reread it, but I didn't get anything from it this time. A sun shower? I guess a fox is being married? Is that a thing? Okay, sure. And then again, she gets this invitation to duel, of course. Okay, no, okay, I get it. So, okay, foxes, for some reason, or fox girls, or whatever the hell, they have to wait till it rains on a sunny day to get married. They have to wait for it, special occasion to get married. It is the one day that they can feel special, right? So this is like Wakaba waiting for her one day, or getting her one day where she's special, and then going back to normal again, and how she feels on the other side of that, right? And apparently the fox girls are lucky comparatively to the bunny girls, who can't get married unless it snows on a sunny day, which I'm sure is some kind of pun type thing, right? And again, the Utena line there is, you could just not do the custom. Again, as we've discussed, from a position of naivete, her being the special one, her being the protagonist, her Almost the Snow on a Sunny Day being the one episode where the side character gets to shine. That is the one episode where they're not just the side character, where they may be promoted to the protagonist. Again, position of privilege. Why don't you just ignore that? I don't know, man. The world isn't like that. The world has main characters, or at least the fictional world we've created here. And Utena saying, "Why don't you just break that?" is simultaneously brilliant, but simultaneously so naive. It really, really is. Either way, now it's Absolute Destiny Apocalypse. I didn't see any real differences here at all, so we'll just skip past it again. The difference here, of course, is that, hey, we're not going and grabbing the sword. Utena is dumbfounded. She is lost for words at who she sees at the very top here, right? And Anchi is worried. Anchi's worried like immediately. She's like, oh shit, I know what this means for Utena, and I know what that means for me by proxy. This is real fucking danger I'm in right now. And I've talked about this before. The hair clips on the tables, all various colors, hair, roses, special characters that are important to the narrative, versus brown hair, versus brown garb that Wakaba's in right now. So hey, Utena, you got to draw the sword from me. I swear I'll win this duel for you, because I know you can't. I love the looks here from Utena, right? Like, she doesn't know what to do. She really, really doesn't know what to do. Himamiya, I can't fight her. I can't raise the sword against my friend. And yeah, look at her. She's fucking slaying, though. She's cool. But it's bad. It's a feel-bad type of cool, for sure. And then, yeah, Wakaba's straight into it. She's looking kind of strong, too. Jesus. And this is like Saionji's sword. Remember, he's like a katana loser. And yeah, this must be like rocking Utena's world. I'm going to kill the girl who stole Saionji's heart. It's like, whoa, wait. Saionji? Really? And yeah, he's going straight for Anchi here instead of Utena. Doesn't want to beat Utena in the duel, doesn't want to get her rose. In a very similar way to Nanami, it's a violent intent at one of the characters rather than following the rules of the duel. Like, just straight there, like, she could have got the rose there. She doesn't care about the rules. She just wants fucking murder. This is another great frame, too. I guess it devalues Utena as well in Utena's own mind. Because, again, Utena is cognizant that Wakaba is crazy about her, or at least was, right? But now, this Wakaba that was crazy about me now discards me so much that she strikes past me to get to Anchi, right? Who is the object of her desire right now, because she wants to fucking kill her because she loves Saionji that much. And this music fucking rules too. I probably should read the song. I'm going to do that and then go back through the fight. The piteous old grandsire, his antique sword, rebellious to his arm, repugnant to command. Okay, so there's a bloke with a sword, and the sword won't obey him, right? Repugnant to command. Doesn't follow commands, right? And he's piteous because the sword doesn't trust his arm. He strikes wide, but with the whiff and wind of his fell sword, the unnerved father falls. Then senseless Troy, seeming to feel this blow, with flaming tops stoops to his base, with flaming top stoops to his base, with flaming top stoops to his base, with a hideous crush he takes Pyrrhus's ear. He takes prisoner Pyrrhus's, with a hideous clash he takes prisoner Pyrrhus's ear. I'm going insane. Lo, his sword, which was declining on the milky head of the old king, seemed eyed the air to stick. What? So as a painted tyrant Pyrrhus stood, after Pyrrhus's pause, aroused vengeance sets him new a work, and his bleeding sword now falls on the old king. Okay, what the fuck are we talking about? What does any of that mean? Okay, we have old mate's got a sword. He's got a sword. He's going to cut some bloke's ear off, which mirrors, again, like this kind of like grabbing of the hair of Utena, right? I'm going to fucking cut your ear off like crazy. Okay, gamers, we've officially done it. We're on myshakespeare.com, Hamlet, Act 2, Scene 2. And yeah, you'll see a lot of the lyrics starting here. This is just like the lyrics. So that's why it sounded so fruity, because it like literally is like Hamlet stuff. So sure. Alright, I'm fucking reading Spark's notes, but I literally haven't. I don't know the story of Hamlet, so I can't tell you. Something about Ophelia, something about Polonius. Sure. That's what this is about. If somebody can make the connection to Hamlet and this particular scene and how it mirrors these characters, please do. I would be very, very happy to read it, whether it be on Discord or anything else. But I don't have the time right here, right now, today to literally discover Hamlet. I'm not doing that. Thanks, Sparks Notes, by the way. Takes me back to English class. Anyway, I'm going to continue with the episode now and go back to the start of the fight. I think that's probably for the best. First, Utena questions Wakaba. You've been shining so bright, Wakaba. So why? You wouldn't understand. You can't understand. The line reads here and the voice acting are fucking incredible. They're so good. We get a few flashbacks here of, again, the connections between Saionji and Wakaba. Archie still yells for Utena to grab the sword, but Wakaba is walking towards her. You go to protect her. And yeah, we get flashbacks to this scene, right? So is Saionji going out with Himamiya or what? No way. Someone as cool as Saionji would never fall for a girl like that. Even right back to the very start, Wakaba held these feelings. And then, yeah, this is the tragedy of that, right? Like, oh shit, he's not feeling feelings for me either, right? Maybe I thought I was special for a time, but this is the moment I realized I wasn't special. Or at least somewhat. And again, like the scene before in the mirror, that is contrasted. That is the moment I felt special, right? When, okay, the tragedy is she looks the same the entire time. She was special the entire time. That sucks. It sucks that she thinks like that. It really does. Yeah, they're only together because they're together on the student council. That's what, that's what Wakaba believed in that moment. Not the truth. There's way more going on, and we were blindsided by it. You heard the student council. You all looked down on me. This fucking position is crazy. I kind of want Wakaba to do this to me, but less mean-like. No, but in a more serious tone, this is just like tragic for Utena, right? Like blindsided by this, literally. Utena didn't do nothing wrong, but she did close to nothing wrong. So like, I don't know. It feels weird that it's coming out like this for her. But it's actually a real struggle. Yeah, you're all flexing the power that you're born with, the power to be special. Then you don't know what it's like not to be special, so, fuck you. I hate you. I'm letting this angst take over. I'm literally letting this angst take over. I think a thing I've neglected to talk about as well is how much this mirrors Saionji, right? And Saionji's own inadequacy, his own thing with inadequacy versus Torga, right? Like, this is a very similar thing playing out with Wakaba and Utena. Like, it just replaced the word something eternal with special. And again, the something eternal, right? That's to make Saionji special in the eyes of Torga. And the eyes of everyone else as well. But like, again, they're kind of relating on this. This is kind of why that same sword is being used as well. I love this moment as well. Wakaba, there's a lot of stuff I don't understand. But I know this for a fact. You're my dear friend. Hold on just a sec, I'm gonna save you now. Then grabs her sword, kind of unarms her. What's the word? Fucking steals a weapon. There's a word for it. Cuts the rose, all in one fell swoop. I also like this shot here. We don't see the face here, but I'm gonna have to imagine this worked. Wakaba didn't fight back very much. Like, she's like, shit, you're fucking kind of right. Maybe I should back off. Just the twinge of her still knows, hey, I don't want to kill Utena here. She's my friend. I'm her friend. Yeah, I wanna frame by frame this shit. Yeah, like her face here, I feel like, or at least something about her body movements are like, I've given up. At least a little bit, I think. Maybe slightly. She's definitely like, her eyes are like glazed over. It's like she's given up, for sure. Like she doesn't care anymore. Yeah, in that same way, that same tear falls down. We see the bells. Everything's all together, all the desks have come like that way, and it's over. It's over very quickly. And now we get this, we get to play this one out in real time. Mikage drops that kind of gold leaf, and what do we see in here? Yeah, you can kind of see it, right, in the hair. Kind of a little bit brushed back. Same hair color, and along with that gold leaf. Very similar to the Shiori design, for sure, just without the purple hair. So we burn that. Taking out the trash is usually for the best, but as long as Saionji plays the part of a clown, it's more entertaining to keep him around. That kind of rhymes. Yeah. So we've got kind of Saionji under our finger. We know that he's going to cause chaos, cause more Black Rose shenanigans, cause more sword pulls, that kind of thing. So he's reintroduced into the school regardless. This one's all very obvious as well. This shot here mirrors one of the first shots in the show, actually, of Utena walking into school. Again, what is this doing? Signifying that Saionji is back to his status quo, back to where he was in the first episode, maybe. Like, re-entering the school as somebody that's important, where everyone's got their eyes on him, even the student council are talking about him being a smug boy. I wonder if that attitude there means he means to join the student council again. It's going to be different now that Torgi isn't there, now that Nanami's there. I don't think people like Saionji very much, so I don't really want him there either. I wonder how he managed to overturn the suspension. I heard the Black Rose Society put in a good word for him. He's definitely under their finger now. But then, yeah, Wakaba's kind of back to the same old bullshit too. Very similar to the first shot of the episode as well. Just kind of mirroring that same journey home, right? Where again, like very normal to walk home from school and go back to your room, go back to your house, right? No stops on the way though. Doesn't stop on the way at all to buy anything, to do anything. Just straight back home to the darkened room, looks up, sad, no one there to greet her, Saionji's gone, and then we get this face. Where's her fucking face here? Yeah, fuck me. Yeah, this one too, where like there's no one to have tea with. There's 2 cups there, but you know, no uniform up there, abandoned, all by herself again. And yeah, to be continued. She says, I'm home. She says, Tadaima, and has nobody to say the fucking other one. Are we serious? This is the saddest shit ever? Yeah, fuck. Holy shit.
Just because I wanted to make this video even longer, I had a couple more points. One is, did Utena do the right thing in the very end? And I'm kind of back and forth in my own mind about this. Yes, she did help Wakaba. Wakaba was going crazy. It wasn't good that she was up there in the dueling arena trying to kill Archie, right? I'm sure that's something that another side of Wakaba potentially would regret later on, right? Especially considering the circumstances actually surrounding Torga, right? Like, I don't think it would have led to her happy ending if she just killed Archie there, right? But we also haven't seen Utena on the other side of this. Is she going to actually pay attention, try to make things right, be a good friend now? Or was this just another band-aid solution because I'm the special one and now I'm pushing you back into your little cave where you're not the special one, where you're all alone, right? Am I going to do that to her again? Or am I going to improve from this experience? Am I going to learn? Time will tell. It looks like next week, for the record, we're going into a bit more of a silly thing, so probably not next week. The other thing is, I guess, the sub-theme in the episode, which I haven't really talked about at all, which is Wakaba finding self-worth in dating a man. A special man, but being, like, just next to him, and that making her so happy, and her ascribing so much of her own happiness from that. Is that a good thing? Probably not. She should find a way to be happy on her own as well, and confident and happy and lovely in the skin that she's in. Is any of this going to happen? I don't know. But it sucks that she needs a man there to be like, I'm legitimizing you now. You are now special because I am here. Again, contrast between the shot where she's all alone crying and the shot where she's in the mirror crying. She is the exact same. It's all internal. She's not externally any different. She looks the exact same. She's just one makes her feel one way, one makes her feel the other way. I think that's very interesting and probably something that can be extrapolated upon. But yeah, we'll leave it there. I'm going to finish the video now.
What an episode. It's easily, and I don't say this slightly, I really don't, even though it may seem like I do, this is easily the best episode so far. This has blown me out of the water. It's probably one of the best things I've seen on the fucking channel. It's the best thing I've seen in years. That is a fucking good episode. That is fucking good. And watching them together was definitely the best way to do it. Thanks for telling me to do that. But yeah, that's fucking insanely good. Holy shit. I was already like head over heels for this show, but this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, does this episode get topped? How? How can it get topped? I don't understand how it gets any better than that. I really, really don't. Does this one come up in like a lot of like, you know, best episodes of all time type threads? Because it fucking should. It really, really should. Like, you know, the classic episodes from the past, you know, fucking whatever. I'm not going to go through them, but you know the ones I'm talking about. I think it should be up in that upper echelon of episodes for sure, for sure. So yeah, I mean, I've talked for an hour about that, but I also spent a lot of time of that reading Hamlet, so maybe shorter. But what happens next? Something's going to happen with Wakaba now. There's got to be. I want it to be happy, man. I want everyone to be happy. Why can't everyone be happy? That's really what I want here. But yeah, I mean, next week we're probably going to do one. We're going to do one episode, and then I hear some rumblings that 22 and 23 go together. So I'm probably going to do that the subsequent week. So yeah, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching and stuff. And yeah, holy shit. Holy shit. Chill stuff. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and you want to see more, consider subscribing. Very, very close to 1,000. So subscribe if you haven't already. Comment below. Do all that kind of stuff. I'm sure this episode won't be short of comments and views for that matter. This one seems like a biggie. Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. Discord. Thanks for watching. Holy shit. Is this show good? I'm looking forward to doing more of it next week. I'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Jesus.